Welcome to Khanversations. I'm Muqtedar, your host, and as you all probably have already read the news, it is being reported that Israel has assassinated and killed Ismail Haniyeh, one of the leaders of, especially the political leaders of Hamas. He was attending the inauguration of the new president of Iran in Tehran, and he was assassinated there. I have not been able to decipher the details of how he was assassinated. Some reports are saying that he was killed by an airstrike. I mean, that just to kill him, it will have to be an extremely precise drone attack, probably. But anyway, both Hamas and other sources have already announced that Ismail Haniyeh, who was once the prime minister in Gaza, was basically killed. So the question really raises is, what does this mean for the Middle East process, Middle East conflict? What happens to the war? What happens to the ceasefire in Gaza? I find it quite surprising that Israel was able to find and kill Haniyeh in Tehran, in the heart of Iran, and they can't find Sinwar, the guy, the Palestinian leader who was responsible for the attacks on October 7 until now, who is hiding in Gaza, and Israelis are all over Gaza, but they can't find Sinwar, but they're able to find Haniyeh in Iran. And so that raises a very interesting question about essentially who has shared this intelligence with Israel, that it was able to make such a precise attack. Right now, I have no answer to that question. The question just keeps popping up in my head as to how did they find him and could not find Sinwar. So that's one critical question. The second thing that, or rather, I have 6 points that I want to make about this strike. The first one is that this clearly looks as if Netanyahu is trying his best to ensure that the ceasefire is scuttled, or at least delayed, so that he can continue with his war in Gaza. Remember this, there is a very high likelihood that Netanyahu will be out of power or might even go to jail if this war ends and the Israelis get the opportunity to shuffle the deck in their domestic politics. So it is in Netanyahu's personal interest to ensure that the war does not end and it goes on and on and on. And from the response from his interactions with Kamala Harris, where he probably has thought that maybe the United States may not be as supportive of his actions in the Middle East after 6-7 months as the US is right now under Biden. So he's thinking that maybe let me take as many chances as possible while Biden is still the president of the United States, and his support for Israel remains, as Biden himself likes to say repeatedly, ironclad, which basically means that even if you commit a genocide, the United States will not abandon you because our support for you is ironclad. So the first point that is very clear is that this whole strike is to ensure that, killing Hamas's leader and then continuing to negotiate terms and conditions of a ceasefire with Hamas are quite impossible. So I think that the prima facie, the first reason for the attack really seems to be to basically scuttle the ceasefire. It appears, this is my second takeaway, it appears that Netanyahu is not really interested in rescuing the hostages. Of the 250 plus hostages that were taken, over 100 were released through negotiations in which Qatar was deeply involved. But the negotiations now with United States as well as Egypt and others are going on endlessly, and the hostages, some of whom have already died in captivity, remain, not just Israeli hostages but also American hostages, remain under capture with Hamas. And so this clearly looks as if he is more interested in an endless war with Hamas than in rescuing the hostages. My third takeaway is that it appears that Netanyahu wants to drag the United States into a major war with Iran. Iran's capabilities have significantly increased. Iran has become more expansionist, more courageous, more bold. The 300 rocket drone missile attack on Israel for the first time indicated that Iran is willing to engage Israel directly So all of this suggests that the best way for Israel to deal with Iran is to essentially provoke a war between Iran and the United States, and then let the United States do the dirty work of demolishing Iran's military capabilities and possibly Iran's nuclear program if a war between the United States and Iran were to be initiated. Clearly, if there is a war and the United States commits to a war with Iran, they will go after Iran's nuclear capabilities for sure. So it appears that Netanyahu is determined to trigger a war between the United States and Iran. If you remember from the very beginning, Biden and Biden's administration, people have been saying that their number one goal is to ensure that this war does not escalate, basically to keep everybody out and let Israel beat up on the Gazans endlessly. But what it appears is Netanyahu will not allow that. He has attacked several countries in the region, Lebanon and Syria for sure, and also attacked Yemen, and of course he has attacked both in West Bank and Gaza. So I think one of the objectives of this is to see if they can trigger a war between the United States and Iran. My fourth takeaway is that, or it's a question rather, is will the Arabs once again defend Israel if Iran were to attack Israel? Will Jordan's king's daughter be flying jets to intercept drones and missiles from Iran? The Arabs have become totally helpless. They have no say in this conflict. All they can do is, oh, I will make peace with you, give me this, I will make peace with you, give me that, protect me from Iran. I mean, they are acting like impotent, helpless, incompetent nations. And so they will be dragged into this war. Will they, in order to continue to get US patronage and US aid and US protection, will they fight for Israel? That's an interesting question. And it will have a long-term impact on the relations between the Arab governments and their people. I wonder how long will this region remain free of democracy, and so the dictators are free to make decisions free of their public opinion. So that is my fourth takeaway. My fifth takeaway is with regards to Iran. Can Iran continue to play this game? Can Iran retaliate in a manner which is I don't even know how to say that. I mean, is there a proportionate response to an assassination? What would that be? So will Iran again launch a few hundred missiles at Israel and test how many countries from the first time will come forward? Will the United Kingdom also join the United States in protecting Israel against Iran? Or will it be just between Iran and Israel? And Iran is not really, I mean, while Iran is obviously done things which haven't been done before, which is attack Israel directly, they are paying a much, much higher price than Israel. Their 300 missiles and rockets did absolutely no damage to Israel. They just hurt one Bedouin. A young girl was injured in that strike. No military targets were destroyed or anything else. But Israel has killed two generals and now struck in the heart of Iran, showing clearly that even Iran's capital is not safe. If Netanyahu wants, he could probably even take out the new president or even Ali Khamenei. I mean, he has shown the capacity. If he can take out Haniyeh, he can take out anybody in Tehran. So, I mean, and the US also killed General Soleimani. So Iran has been paying a major price for the irritation that it is causing to Western countries. So will it again provoke and give Israel another chance to retaliate? So Iran's response to this will actually have, I think, a very serious impact on what happens. If Iran retaliates in a really massive way, then Iran might force Israel to, the United States to enter into the war. And if perchance they're able to cause some damage, just like Hezbollah did in Golan Heights, then I think this will be a major war. And finally, this is, I think, Joe Biden's last opportunity to salvage his foreign policy image. Yes, some liberals and some Democrats think he's the greatest president America ever had, you know, greater than George Washington, greater than Abraham Lincoln, greater than Obama. I mean, apparently there are people making comments on social media that he's the greatest president we have had. But really, he has been quite incompetent. He has allowed this war to go on. He has not taken a single decisive decision in the Middle East conflict since October 7, except to give whatever weapons Israel needed to continue its activities in Gaza and providing protection, diplomatic and legal protection. Maybe the biggest achievement of Biden was to basically compel UK and Jordan and to some extent Iraq. I don't even know what Iraq's role was in that, but definitely Jordan and UK to become part of an international coalition to defend Israel when Iran attacked Israel directly. But this is a last chance for Joe Biden, I think, to show some kind of decisive leadership and try to resolve the matter in the Middle East. He's been talking about a day after scenario. He's been talking about the two-state solution, but he has done nothing. He has been unhappy with other countries like Norway and Ireland and Spain who have recognized a Palestinian state. Perhaps the United States could now try to show that who is the boss. Right now, basically, Netanyahu is treating Biden like his poodle, doing whatever he wants and getting whatever he wants from the US. So he does everything that Biden does not want him to do. He does that, and he gets everything that he wants from the US through Biden. So this is Joe Biden's last chance to make some decisive actions in the Middle East, and that remains to be seen. Otherwise, this will be his legacy, a reflection of how he converted the world's greatest power, superpower, into the lackey of baby Netanyahu. So these are my thoughts. I'm clearly worried about what's going on. I'm not at home. I'm visiting my son. I'm right now on Caltech's campus in Los Angeles. And I will continue to keep an eye on it and discuss if there are new developments. So until next time, I'm Muqtedar Khan, your host. And don't forget to subscribe to Khanversations and share this video with as many people as you possibly can. So until next time, take care, be safe, bye.